Good evening, students. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
So let's get started. Just keep going through the concepts of yesterday's class. Okay. So I think this was the last concept that we saw yesterday, Kirchhoff's law, and based on that we did a problem, right? So today we are going to see the application of it. We'll see the application of Kirchhoff's law. That is nothing but a Wheatstone bridge. So write down the heading as a Wheatstone bridge. Okay. So as I told you previously, it is an application of Kirchhoff's rules. Okay. So you can ask me, what exactly does a Wheatstone bridge mean, and how exactly is it used in our real-time applications? Okay. See, suppose yeah, I think there was some network issue. So what was the last point you guys were able to hear? Students, what was
Kirchhoff's laws?
Kirchhoff's rules, and we are going to see the application of it. That is the Wheatstone bridge. If you ask me what a Wheatstone bridge means, first we need to understand what exactly a Wheatstone bridge means, and second we need to understand what is the application of it. Right. So I was talking about an example. Let's say I give you a bulb. Okay. It is connected to a potential source. Now I'm asking you to find out the value of current that is consumed by this bulb, that is taken by this bulb. Will you be able to find it or not? So what exactly will you do? What logic will you apply if I ask you to find the current across the ends of it? You will take an ammeter and connect it across its end. In a similar way, if I ask you to calculate the potential difference across it, you will be able to take a voltmeter and find it out. So let's take a scenario. Suppose I gave you 4 resistors, okay, out of which you know the value of 3 resistances from the manufacturer himself. So the manufacturer will give you some specifications, right? He will say that is a 5 ohm resistor, 2 ohm resistor, something like that. You already know the specification, let's assume. Then using these 3 resistors, how are you going to find the resistance of the 4th one? If at all you want to apply it in a systematic way and find the value of the resistance of the 4th one, then what we can do is we can go for a type of connection which is called as a Wheatstone bridge. I will not say connection, a type of arrangement called as a Wheatstone bridge, where this Wheatstone bridge will basically consist of 4 resistors. Okay, right? So these 4 resistors will be connected exactly in the form of a quadrilateral. Okay, so if you see the diagram, this is what a Wheatstone bridge looks like. So let me describe it. So the 4 resistors R1, R2, R3 and R4 that is given to you, you will be connecting it exactly in the form of a quadrilateral, and at the ends of one of the 2 diagonal points. So what are the 2 diagonal points, 2 sets of diagonal points that you have? AC and BD. So across the end AC, you will be connecting a potential source, and across the end BD, you will be connecting a galvanometer. So what does a galvanometer do, guys? I think this is the first time we are seeing this term. So what exactly does a galvanometer do? You would have learned in your lower grades.
Electric current, right?
Sorry, can you come again?
Electric current, it measures electric current.
If it is measuring electric current, then why do we have an ammeter? Then why do you need two devices to measure the same electric current? No, that's not the answer. But it has something to do with electric current, that is right. It is used to detect whether current is flowing or not. It is like a sensor. Okay, it will detect the presence of current, but it cannot measure it. Okay, so basically I have to give you an introduction of how a galvanometer looks like. Generally, if you take the device like an ammeter and a galvanometer, an ammeter 0 will be here, means when no load is connected, the pointer will be like this. Whereas a galvanometer 0 will be here, means when no load is connected, it will be at the center. So what will happen is, when you pass current in one direction, if the galvanometer shows a deflection to the right, if you reverse the direction of current, then the galvanometer will show a deflection in the left. Are you able to understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so galvanometer will only show a deflection whenever current is flowing through it. Okay, so that is what you're going to do. To come again, what I'm going to do is, there are 4 resistors which are connected in the form of a quadrilateral, and across the endpoints of one of the diagonal set, you will be connecting a potential source, and across the other 2 diagonal sets, across the other 2 diagonal points, you will be connecting a galvanometer. Okay, when you do this and leave, then this kind of an arrangement is what we call it as a Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so that is a basic description about a Wheatstone bridge. I have not explained how it is going to work. Okay, I have given you only the basic description about it. Now we are going to see how it is going to work. But before that, what is it we understood till now? We understood that it works on the principle of Kirchhoff's law. It is an application of Kirchhoff's law. So how is it happening? That's what we are going to see. Okay, so if there is a split into 2 currents, I1 and I2. Here I'm not writing it as I minus I1 and all. I'm still writing it as I1 and I2. Okay, so this I1 is going to come to this junction. From I1, let's say there is a current I3 that is going here. Okay, wait. A small correction. Let's say I2 is going to this junction. From this I2, let's say the current that is getting split is IG and I4. What do I mean by IG and I4 is, IG is called as the full scale deflection current. So full scale deflection current in the sense, when I told you about the galvanometer 0 will be here. When current is flowing through it, it will come and stop here. So galvanometer basically has divisions on it. If the pointer goes till the end of the galvanometer exactly and stops at the last reading point, then that is called as the full scale deflection current. Okay, IG is called full scale deflection current, and I4 is the current that is flowing through the so-called unknown resistor. Then I3 will be the current which is flowing through an arm called as the standard arm. Okay, so according to this question, R1, R2 and R3 are known, R4 is an unknown. So we have applied the KCL and found the directions of current. Now we will apply KVL. Okay. Now when I apply KVL, by taking the loop ABDA, guys, if I take the loop ABDA, when I go from A to B, I'm walking in the direction of current. So minus I2 into R2. When I go from B to D, then it is minus Ig into G, where capital G is going to be the resistance of the galvanometer, or I will call it as Rg itself. Okay. Similarly, when I go from D to A, it is plus I1 into R1. The whole put together is 0. Right? Similarly, if I take the loops BCDB, if I take the loops BCDB, when I go from B to C, it is minus I4 into R4. When I go from C to D, it is plus I3 into R3. When I go from D to B, it is plus Ig into Rg. The whole put together is 0. Are you guys clear with these 2 points, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I'm going to introduce a new term. Listen to this. There is something called as balanced condition. Okay. So what do I mean by balanced condition here is the value of I1, I2 and I3 and I4, value of I1, I2, I3 and I4 will be in such a way that at any point, if Ig is 0, then that kind of a condition is called as balanced condition. In that case, what will happen is the galvanometer will show no deflection. You're able to understand this point? So whenever the current flowing through the galvanometer becomes 0, then you can say that the whole circuit is under a balanced condition. Clear? So listen, under balanced condition, equation 1 turns out to be like this: minus I2 R2 plus I1 R1 is equal to 0. Because Ig is going to be 0. If I substitute it there, the middle term is going to disappear. So what will happen to the relation I1 into R1 is equal to I2 into R2. Let me call this as equation number 3. Okay. Similarly, equation 2 will become what? Minus I4 into R4 plus I3 into R3 is equal to 0, which implies I3 R3 is equal to I4 R4, and let this be this circuit is the same as this thing. Did you understand what I did? So under balance condition, whether you have a galvanometer or not, it doesn't make any difference because there is no current flowing through the galvanometer. Then if it is I2 here, then what will be the value of this I4? Is this I4 also not equal to I2, guys? Why? Because R2 and R4 are like connected in series. In a similar way, if this is I1, what will be the value of I3? Is it not going to be I1? Because R1 and R3 are connected in series. So replacing I4 with I2 and I3 with I1 in equation number 4, we get I1 into R3 is equal to I2 into R4. Let this be 5. I'm giving you 15 seconds time. Just go through and let me know if there is any doubt. Okay. Now, dividing 3 and 5, what do we get? Third equation is what? I1 R1 is equal to I2 R2. I1 R1 is equal to I2 R2. And I1 R3 is equal to I2 R4. If I equate both, I1 cancel, I2 will get cancelled. R1 divided by R3 is equal to R2 divided by R4. From this I can say R4 is equal to R2 divided by R3, sorry, R3 divided by R1 multiplied with R2. So this is the way you find the resistance of the unknown value, and this is the condition for a balanced Wheatstone bridge. The relation between resistances in a balanced Wheatstone bridge. Clear? Guys, copy it. Done? Guys, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So basically this is the order in which we came. We saw what is Kirchhoff's law and we saw what is the application of it in the form of a Wheatstone bridge. Now we know what is a Wheatstone bridge. Now we'll be seeing the application of a Wheatstone bridge. Okay. Now let's try to solve this problem before we go to the application of it. The four arms of Wheatstone bridge have the following resistances. AB is 100 ohm, BC is 10 ohm, CD is 5 ohm, and DA is 60 ohm. Okay. What are we supposed to do? A galvanometer of 15 ohm resistance is connected across BD. Calculate the current through the galvanometer when a potential difference of 10 volt is maintained across AC. Check. Let's see. So, let's say the total current is I, and the currents are getting split as I1 and I2. And here, if the current is IG, then what will be the current that is flowing here? Is it not going to be I1 minus IG? Right. Similarly, here it is I2 and IG is traveling here. So both will get added at the junction, and it is going to be I2 plus IG, which is going to go to the point C. So I1 minus IG plus I2 plus IG is going to completely give you an I. Okay, so whatever current has gone, the same current has returned back. As simple as that. Now what are we supposed to do? Apply Kirchhoff's voltage law and find out the equations and then solve for it. So one important point to be noted here is IG is not zero because nowhere they have mentioned that it is under a balanced condition. Our work in this problem is to find out what is the value of IG. So how do we proceed, guys? So if I take AB, BA, when I go from A to B, it is minus 100 into I1. When I go from B to D, it is minus 15 into IG. When I go from D to A, it is plus 60 into I2 is equal to 0. Similarly, if I take BCDB, when I go from B to C, it is minus 10 into I1 minus IG. When I go from C to D, it is plus of I2 plus IG into 5. When I go from D to B, it is plus IG into 15 is equal to 0. Okay. So you have three unknowns, write the third equation also. I told you, when you're writing the value, when you need to find the value of current and you're applying KVL, at least one of the loops should have a battery in it. So for that, what I'm going to do is I will take A, B, C, A. When I go from A to B, minus 100 I1. When I go from B to C, minus 10 into I1 minus IG. When I go from C to A, it is plus 10 is equal to 0. So when you solve everything, you're going to get the answer of IG. Okay. And remember, IG will be generally in terms of milliampere. I'll give you a very small value. Okay. Next, we will see what a meter Yeah. Students, are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
1 minute. Huh? Yeah. So we'll get started, guys. Just a minute. So please write down the next heading as meter bridge. Okay. The next topic that we are going to see is meter bridge. So what exactly does meter bridge mean? That's what we are going to see. So as the name suggests, this is also something like a Wheatstone bridge. It's a combination of a Wheatstone bridge and a meter scale. That's why it is called as a meter bridge. Okay. Now listen. I'll show you a diagram. This is how a meter bridge looks like. So you're able to see a meter bridge, right? So you're able to see a diagram. You have a metal strip like this. I'm moving my cursor. You have a metal strip like this, and you have a meter scale. Meter scale in the sense it's a 100 centimeter scale, and you have an L-shaped metallic strip, just a plain metallic strip, and another L-shaped metallic strip, right? And this is what is called as a resistance box. You're able to see many keys, right? Whichever key you remove, that amount of resistance you're going to introduce. Okay. So this is a resistance box which is connected with the help of a key to another resistance box. And in between you have a device, and this device is what is called as a galvanometer. And you will have a pen-like structure like this, which is called as jockey. Jockey. What will happen is this will be slided on a wire. A wire will be actually present here. You will have a wire. I don't know why they have not given in this diagram. You will have a wire. On this wire, you will be moving this jockey. Okay. So the replication of this is what we are going to see in the textbook. Guys, before that, tell me, are you clear with whatever points that I have shown you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. So the same thing we are going to draw from the top view, and this is how it looks. So you have two L-shaped metallic strips, right? You have a metal wire here, right? And you have a meter scale. You have another strip. Between the ends of these two knobs, there is one resistor R that is connected. Between the L-shaped part and the flat surface, there is another resistor connected. Okay. Now, this whole thing is nothing but an other way of representing a meter bridge. You'll understand how it is once I start redrawing the circuit. Okay. And across the base points of the L-shaped strip, there is a potential source that is connected, and with the help of a key, it is controlled. Okay. So if you're clear with this diagram, I will redraw and show how exactly, why I'm saying that this is exactly the replication of a Wheatstone bridge. Okay, listen to this carefully. Listen. Now, let me take this point as A, this as C, and you have a point B in between, right? Now, see what I'm going to do is, I'm taking the point A and I'm taking another point C. This method of drawing is called as redrawing the same circuit in a different format. So if you look at this meter bridge, if you see from the top, it is actually appearing like a rectangle, right? But what did I say Wheatstone bridges? It should be in the shape of a quadrilateral. That is, it is going to be the shape of a kite-like structure, right? So I'm going to redraw it. So I will take a point D here, this point D here, and this point D here. Now tell me, this whole metal has the same resistance. So between A and B, so when I say this point is A, this point is also A. If this point is B, then this point is also B. And similarly, this point is also B. Means I'm trying to say how much ever is the length of the strip, every point on the strip can be treated as the same point B because all the points will have the same potential. So between A and B, I have a resistor of value R that is connected. Similarly, between B and C, so if this point is C, obviously this point is C. Between C and C, B and C, I have a resistor of another value S that is connected. Guys, accepted. Similarly, between A and D, there is a wire. When I say a wire, that wire is going to have some resistance. Okay, there is a wire whose length is taken as L1. So if I take the resistivity of this material as rho, then I can say the resistance of this is going to be rho L1 divided by A. Clear? Similarly, from D to C, what will be the resistance of this wire, guys? It is the same wire, so its resistivity is rho. Completed. Rho into 100 minus L1, the whole divided by A. So what formula did I apply? R is equal to rho into L divided by A, where rho is the resistivity, L is the length of that portion, A is the area of cross section. Okay, and what is connected between B and D, guys? Is it not a galvanometer? So between B and D, I'm going to connect a galvanometer. Clear? Right. So point A is connected to the positive terminal of the cell or the battery, and C is connected across the negative terminal. The only extra point that is coming here is a key because you're doing this as an experiment. It's no more a theory part. So if I take this as I, then what will happen, guys? Is it not looking similar to a Wheatstone bridge? Rather than saying similar to Wheatstone bridge, it is nothing but a Wheatstone bridge. Guys, am I clear or not? I need some response.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear, right? Now, I told you about the jockey, right? So, the jockey is what is this thing? You have a sharp point for the jockey, right? A metallic part. That metallic part will be slided on this wire. That wire was missing in the diagram, but it will be slided. So when you keep sliding it, right, at one point, when the jockey, at one point you can observe that the galvanometer will stay still. For example, let us say the jockey was here initially. Then if the galvanometer showed a deflection like this, as you keep approaching towards the point D, the galvanometer's deflection will change from, it will be something like this. The galvanometer was showing, 1 minute, sorry. It was showing deflection like this. As you are reaching the point D, it will turn and it will stop. After you cross the point D, it will start showing deflection in the other side. So exactly point D is where the whole bridge is getting balanced. So what did I say is a condition under balanced? What did I say? The relation, mathematical relation under balanced condition. Revisit and tell me, under balanced condition, what did I say? Isn't it the ratio of the resistances are in proportion? So under balanced condition, R divided by rho into L1 divided by A, that is this resistance divided by this resistance, is same as S divided by rho into 100 minus L1 divided by A. So rho and rho will get cancelled, A and A will get cancelled, which implies R is equal to S divided by 100 minus L1 multiplied with L1. So what I'm trying to say is, if R is the unknown resistance, then this is the formula. Suppose S is the unknown resistance, then R into 100 minus L1 divided by L1 will be the formula. Mostly what we will do is, we will connect the unknown resistance here only. Guys, are you able to understand? That's it. There is no other derivation. The whole story that I told you is given in the paragraph. Whole thing, if you read, no, that is what you are going to get. R is equal to S into L1 divided by 100 minus L1. So this is the formula. And in the lab, you will be doing an experiment also based on this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please make a note of this pointer. Okay. So I'll tell you how to solve the problems based on this. With this, actually, we have completed the major portion of this chapter. The only thing that is left out is cells in series and parallel and resistors, color coding of resistors. Third is potentiometer. As I told you, potentiometer, I'll explain after you do the experiment. Then you will understand. Okay, because that's a slightly complicated one. Shall we do some problems? Problem based on meter bridge. Now listen. Clip, copy. So in a meter bridge shown in figure 3.27, 3.27 is nothing but this one only. The null point is found at a distance of 33.7 centimeter from A. If now resistance of 12 ohm is connected in parallel with S, the null point occurs at 51. So was there any issue? Guys, was there any issue today? I mean, no.
Yes, sir.
So till where was I audible? So till where was I audible?
You told that you were starting to explain the problem, then it got stuck, sir.
Okay. So problem based on meter bridge. So what I'm trying to say is in a meter bridge, the null point is found at a distance of 33.7 centimeter from A. If now a resistance of 12 ohm is connected in parallel with S, the null point occurs at 51.9 centimeter. Determine the values of R and S. Okay. So if I take this, so this is the question 3.27. This is the figure. Okay. So the balance point is found to be at 33.7 centimeter. Right. Now if I take a 12 ohm resistor and connect it in parallel with S, then the balance point is found to be at a distance of 51.9 centimeter. Correct? That's what they're saying. Now you need to find the value of R and S. So how many unknowns we have? We have two unknowns. So two unknowns means you need two conditions and two equations. You know one condition here, you know another condition here. So problem is very simple. R divided by L1 is equal to S divided by 100 minus L1. You need not memorize it at all. Okay. What is the value of R? That's what we need to find. So R divided by L1 is how much? It is 33.7 is equal to S divided by 100 minus 33.7. So S divided by 66.3. So R divided by 33.7 is equal to S divided by 66.3. Let this be equation number 1. Okay. Similarly, here what will happen? R divided by L1 will be equal to, can you guys correct and tell me what is the right expression? It is 12s divided by 12 plus s, R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2 divided by 100 minus L1. R divided by L1 is equal to 12s divided by 12 plus s divided by 100 minus L1. So what should I write? Why did I write 12s divided by 12 plus s? Can someone tell me? Because when two resistors are connected in parallel, what is the equivalent resistance? 1 by R equivalent is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2, right? So you will get R1 plus R2 divided by R1 R2 is 1 by R equivalent. So R equivalent is equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Correct? So that's why I wrote it as 12s divided by 12 plus s. So here R divided by 51.9 is equal to 12s divided by 12 plus s divided by 100 minus 51.9, that is 49.1. So let this be equation number 2. So when I divide both, what will I get? So when I divide 2 with 1 implies R divided by 51.9 divided by R divided by 33.7 is equal to 12s divided by 12 plus s, 12s divided by 12 plus s divided by 49.1, the whole divided by s divided by 66.3. So s and s will get cancelled, r and r will get cancelled. 33.7 divided by 51.9 is equal to 66.3 into 12 divided by 49.1 into 12 plus s. So when you solve this equation, you will get Guys, clear? So your voice is not audible. Am I not audible? Others,
Now
please.
you're audible, sir.
Wasn't audible, but now it's fine.
No, it's fine. No? Okay. Did you guys understand the problem? I hope I was clear, right? And the problem. Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
We'll do another problem from the exercise. Let's do one last one. So 3.10, if I take this, clip, copy, and take the notes. In a meter bridge, the balance point is found to be at 39.5 centimeter from the end A. When the resistor Y is of 12.5 ohm. What is resistor Y? The figure 3.27, the balance point is found to be at 39.5 centimeter from A. When the resistor Y is of 12.5 ohm, determine the resistance X. Why are the connections between the resistor and the Wheatstone bridge made of thick copper strips? Okay. 1 minute, I think there is a mistake in the question. This is which question? Equal 3.27. This 3.27, right? Am I seeing anything wrong? Guys, are you able to understand what is the mistake? This 3.27. Again, am I not audible?
Now you're
Yes,
audible,
you
sir.
are.
Okay, okay. See, did you understand in a meter bridge in figure 3.27, the balance point is found to be at 39.5 centimeter from A when the resistor Y is of 12.5 ohm. But where is Y? The 3.27, wait. I think there is a mistake in the question. Okay, I'll do one thing. Assuming they would have given it in the alphabetical order, let me take this as X and this as Y. Okay, let's try to solve and see. The balance point is found to be at a distance of 39.5 centimeter from the end A when the resistor Y is of 12.5 ohm. Okay. Determine the resistance of X. Why are the connections between the resistors in the Wheatstone bridge or meter bridge made of thick copper strips? I'll tell you. Okay. So before that, how are we going to solve it? X divided by L1 will be equal to 12.5 divided by 100 minus L1. According to this problem, what is the value of L1? 39.5. centimeter. Take this and substitute it here. Okay, so x is equal to 12.5 divided by 100 minus 39.5 is 61.5, correct? Or is it 60.5? So 60.5 into what is the value of L1? It is 39.5. When you solve this, you will get the value of x. Now write it down. Okay, so write it down. The connection between the resistors in Wheatstone bridge, the connection between the resistors in a Wheatstone bridge or meter bridge is made of thick copper strips, to minimize the resistance, which is not taken into consideration in the meter bridge formula. So what I'm trying to say here is, okay, let me repeat the statement again. It is to minimize the resistance which is not taken into consideration in the meter bridge formula. See, what did I say? If this point is A, I told you this point is also A, right? But there is some resistance made for this copper strip. Okay, that is to minimize that only we are taking these copper strips into consideration. Second, determine the balance point of the bridge above if x and y are interchanged. What will happen? If x is brought here and y is brought here, what will happen? Then L1 will become 60.5 and L2 will become 39.5. So even without calculating, how did I say? Because wherever is x is there, from that particular end, the balance point is found to be at a distance of 39.5. So when x is here, from point C, it would have been 39.5, and obviously the other side would have been 60.5. Okay, what happens if the galvanometer and cell are interchanged at the balance point of the bridge? Would the galvanometer show any current? The answer is no. So this is a very important one mark question. So this you can observe experimentally, that when the galvanometer and the cell are interchanged exactly at the balance point of the meter bridge, there is going to be no change in the construction. That is, the galvanometer at that point is not going to show any kind of a deflection. That is the meaning. Okay, so that's the whole story. So this is all about meter bridge, guys. So I hope you guys are clear with what is a Wheatstone bridge and what is a meter bridge, right? With this main part, as I told you, the main context of this chapter is over. The only part that is left out is cells in series and parallel, which I will be teaching tomorrow. Any other doubt from today's class?
No,
No doubts, sir.
Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow then.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.